episode 3 of Innovations in Business Technology, recording on October 1st, 2017. This is our episode on business process management, optimization, and automation. Thank you again for joining us. I'm your host, Troy McCauley, and hopefully this will be some valuable information for those of you who are unfamiliar with some of the new developments in the BPM space. So, very quickly, let me go ahead and provide a bit of a definition on what exactly is business process management optimization, and business process automation. It all begins with the original idea of business process management, which was really much more of a business-focused concept for making changes and improvements in individual business processes. Probably the most familiar version of this is what's called Six Sigma. It was a method of constantly design, model, execute, monitor, optimize is the way it's done in BPM. There's a lot of different acronyms there, but it all comes down to every time you have a process that needs improvement, you start with the design phase, put everything together, then you go ahead and model the changes that you're going to make. You then implement or execute those changes. Then you monitor the results of those changes, and then you go ahead and optimize or design, and then basically you're right back up at the top of the loop. We'll kind of go over the BPM loop in a bit. What's changed right around 2010, the degree by which technology was integrating into business process management has shifted quite a bit. And a large number of big enterprise players, IBM among the forefront of them, have been focusing on implementing business process automation as well as business process optimization through technology and through combining the use of technological applications, software tools, mostly software, but some integrations with hardware as well, to take a business process, make it better, optimize it through technology by taking repetitive processes out of the hands of people so that the people can focus more on decision-making processes as opposed to repetitive automated processes where the human mind is not as good at doing the exact same thing the exact same way 50,000 times a day as a computer, but no computer yet anyway is anywhere near as good at making a creative decision than a human being is. So by using technology to try to segment a business from areas that the computers do really well and let the computers do those tasks, and take tasks that humans do really well and have humans do those tasks, so that everybody, all aspects of the business are being run in the most efficient way possible. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start out with a brief, about 4-minute video that IBM put out. It's a marketing piece for IBM. We're not getting paid from IBM to do this. I just found it to be a pretty compelling bit of understanding how a relatively small operation, a fire engine company in the UK, was able to use a cloud-based business process management solution to make major improvements in their operation. And one thing that they say that I found very useful, and this really comes up over and over again with business process automation, is the idea that you can take a process that used to take days or hours and turn that through successful use of business process automation tools into a process that takes hours or minutes. Anytime you can do that, obviously you're making huge improvements in the overall operation of the business. Because every process that you can reduce, every person you can free from repetitive tasks to be doing more productive tasks, increases the efficiency of the business, increases the profitability of the business if it's a commercial business, etc. So we're going to start off with that, and then I'm going to go over a few examples of the different types of business process automation that are out there. Because obviously, a lot of our viewers are not, CEOs of $100 million companies. And most people think of IBM type solutions in that level, but there are any number of lower tier solutions, and by lower tier I don't mean less efficient or less effective, simply targeted at smaller businesses to help them accomplish the same type of efficiency improvements that IBM was able to show that fire company in the UK. So really, business process management should not be thought of as something that is only available for the enterprise company. Any business, no matter how small, can benefit from doing things better, can benefit from performing the same job you already perform now, but in a cheaper and more efficient way. And you can always benefit from making sure that your people are able to focus their time on the tasks that they are best at doing. And business process automation, business process management, business process optimization, these are all things that allow you to do that. And the third thing that we'll talk very briefly about, and that is business process outsourcing, which is just another way of managing costs and efficiency. Because of the modern world that we live in, it is easily possible to have remote workforce personnel who are extremely well trained and extremely well motivated, able to function as if they were in your office, and it's not difficult to set up. The infrastructure now is such that having an accountant working full-time for you in say Alabama and your office is in New York, you're not really going to see much difference in efficiency from that individual. The latency is non-existent, but let's be honest, the cost of an accountant in Alabama is a lot lower than the cost for an accountant in Manhattan. That's a domestic example. There's any number of situations where marketing representatives, telemarketing representatives, salespeople can operate in a remote capacity because of the availability of modern technology. Makes it very possible to have a staff that's scattered all the way across the country effectively sitting in the same conference room anytime you need them to be at effectively zero marginal cost. So we're going to go ahead now and I'm going to show you that video from IBM. Then we'll briefly cover a few of the other solutions that are available. I wouldn't want to say solutions, but other options that are available for companies on a little bit of a smaller level, ways that you can utilize that same technology, and then we'll finish up with a brief discussion of business process outsourcing and how that can also provide benefits. So let's go ahead and take a quick break first to hear from our sponsor, Atlantic IT, and then we will go into that video from IBM. So once again, Innovations from Business Technology Podcast would like to thank our sponsors, Atlantic IT, for making this show possible. Atlantic IT is a full-service managed IT company operating out of Somerset, New Jersey, and servicing the East Coast from New Jersey all the way to Maryland and the DC area. Atlantic IT provides everything from basic monitoring and security services to a fully outsourced IT department and everything in between. With over 30 years of experience in managed services, Atlantic IT is a dependable and reliable resource to handle all of your IT needs. IT contact information for Atlantic IT is available at the end of the show and in the show notes. If you have any needs for IT, I heartily recommend that you give them a call.
Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue is an emergency service here in the UK. I'm the project manager for the STEP development here in Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue. STEP stands for Service Transformation and Efficiency Programme. The efficiency programme really is all about trying to make efficiencies in the back office, trying to save money, so that we can redirect those funds to the sharp end, to the firefighters, the operational crews.
We had to find ways of becoming more cost effective and cheaper without sacrificing operational integrity. As a BPM developer, I am responsible for implementing business process solutions using IBM BPM. One concept that excites us is smarter process. So not just process improvement by replacing a spreadsheet for a form, but by automating certain processes.
Our business analysts go out and together with the process owners, the stakeholders, they determine the as-is process, how we do things now. They model that in IBM Blueworks Live, and then together with the development team and myself, we translate that into something that you can then develop in BPM on Cloud, or IBM BPM. We're in our 5th year, and we've done 16 end-to-end processes in BPM, and now we've started to use BPM on Cloud. Typically, we found on those processes we save between 60 and 90% time-saving efficiencies. So that means literally, something that took a week to process, or a process that took a week to perform, now only takes a day or perhaps a matter of hours. BPM on Cloud was revelationary, really, for us. The developers have found the process of developing smarter processes on IBM BPM on Cloud much more flexible. It allows us to get to the business process rather than having to worry about the administration of a computer system, for example.
So I think it's fair to say we're a small team, so there's a lot of work to be done, and one of the biggest pressures is actually prioritising and delivering rapidly. What BPM Cloud allows us to do is stop worrying about the infrastructure. It allows us to focus on our business and delivering better business processes, and that will reflect as better public service.
We've already got a plan to move all of our in-house smarter processes up onto the cloud. We just feel that's the future. It's more flexible. It's certainly a lot faster to develop on. But equally, and perhaps even more importantly, we can collaborate with not just the back office stuff, and not even with just the incident control rooms. We can do the mobilising system as well. And the mobilising system is the system that literally sends the firefighters out to the incidents. It also has opened up possibilities of collaboration with other emergency services. We're not in isolation. We have several collaborations ongoing with different fire and rescue services, for example. But actually what we can do with those processes is kind of go out to other fire and rescue services and say, look what we've done, look at the efficiencies we've managed. There's almost zero startup costs, right, for doing smarter process on cloud. So, do you want to join us? If every other fire and rescue service used the same or common business process, we could make huge efficiencies across the country.
So we've improved our people-based processes, and that's provided a better foundation on which to build other processes. And those sorts of processes could be, for example, community prevention, community safety, that sort of thing. And they are a step towards operations and operational support. So the thing that excites me most, perhaps, about process improvement and the use of BPM is just how much there is to do, and the way in which by addressing small improvements bit by bit, you can suddenly turn around and realise that you've reaped huge rewards.
So, as we can see from that video, even a relatively small organization can benefit tremendously by taking advantage of high-end business process automation tools. Now, keep in mind that a full implementation of a Blueworks solution is, a low 6-figure implementation for most companies. So that's not something that's in range for everyone. But those aren't the only options that are available out there. You can go as low as companies like Zoho, which is a competitor to Salesforce, and they have a number of much lower cost business process automation tools, mostly integrated with CRM and data analytics. Salesforce is another player in that space as well. Most of Microsoft's business process solutions are based around document management, communications, sharing, CRM integration, finance integration. In a way, BPM is kind of like ERP light for companies that don't have the need for a full ERP solution, but still need to have data analytics and process visibility so that they can implement process management. So on a lower level, you don't so much go out and buy a business process management suite as you have someone, typically a skilled partner in process optimization, come in and kind of show you how to use the tools you have and what tools can be inexpensively added to your suite of solutions you already have so that you can do the same thing. Because really, business process management is just a process of doing your business better. And the technology enables that by enabling you to have better visibility into what's happening in your business. If you're a company with 10, 20, 100 employees, you don't need massive automation on the back end, but you still need to have excellent visibility and the ability to process all that information in a usable fashion. So next, we'll talk briefly about business process outsourcing, which is, of course, the process of finding less expensive ways to fill staffing gaps. A very common way to do this is to engage a company like our sponsor, Atlantic IT, who was able to come in and basically be a full-scale IT department for companies that have a need that more than one person can handle, but don't have the ability to pay for a full IT staff in their current budget. In addition, even for companies that have full IT staffs, companies like Atlantic IT can provide monitoring solutions that you would not be able to do with your additional staff. One IT manager with a couple of sysadmins is not going to be able to provide 24/7 monitoring of a company's system, but an outsourcing company like Atlantic IT can. And going away from IT, we can look into the sales area as well. So a sales department that has one overworked sales manager can very easily outsource a couple of business development or social media managers to help drive leads to that individual, or to manage the social media that person doesn't have time to deal with because they're out on sales calls all the time. On the accounting side, a small business that has a single controller or VP of finance very often can definitely utilize the assistance of a remote bookkeeper who can handle the day-to-day accounts payable, accounts receivable, accounts updates, so that the executive can handle the executive decision-making. That's their primary functionality. Really anything that can be done in an office today can be done remotely, almost as well. The only benefit that you have from having someone in the office, honestly, is just the ability to physically touch them. And that's rarely a situation that is necessary for collaboration. If you need to have someone physically touching your equipment or your inventory or your overall business operations, that of course is why you need to have some people on premise. It really depends on the type of business, but it's something that every company should at least take a look at whenever you're looking to hire a significant number of people or make a major acquisition. Always consider if a remote resource would be able to do the job as well, and if so, why are you really looking to expend that additional cost? What is it that you're expecting to get by having that person sitting in a seat and getting benefits and adding to your insurance costs and adding to the hardware costs for their IT infrastructure, their desk, their chair? The cost of someone goes way beyond just their salary. Even if you hire someone at the same salary as an on-premise resource, that remote resource will be significantly less expensive to maintain long term. So those are just a few of the ways that business processes have changed now with the advent of of technology. And by the main thing that's changed is the cloud. The cloud allows collaboration and data sharing and data management with a low cost and high efficiency that was impossible even just 10 years ago. But since 2010, with the real explosion of cloud solutions like Microsoft's Office 365, for instance, which allows create a new Office 365 portfolio for someone, and within 30 seconds you've got someone across the world that is able to operate with a email address and access to all of your Office documents and access to all of your SharePoint, just as if they were in your office, and sending out an email with identical emails and IP stamping, something that can be done with a snap of a finger. It was really extremely difficult to do just a few years ago. Now it's something that can be done with a simple few keystrokes of your admin. And that's another example of how business processes can be made far more effective now than they ever had been in the past. So I guess the number one takeaway from today's show should be that no matter what the size of your business, it's football day, sorry. No matter what the size of your business, there are ways that you can improve your process, and you should always be striving to do that. And whether that is through just using basic business process management techniques with your own software, whether that is engaging a third-party partner to kind of come in and look at the way your business operates with a fresh eye, or whether that's going all the way to a full-scale business process automation suite of solutions from a company like IBM or Oracle or SAP. Whatever the case may be, it's something that should always be on every executive's mind. It should be something you're looking at every quarter, and it's something that if you do it, it will always lead to it will always pay for itself, and it will always lead to a more smoothly operating business, a more profitable business, and a better career for everyone involved. So I guess that's it for today's episode. I hope that everyone found the information of value. Once again, we thank our sponsor, Atlantic IT, and all of their contact information will be in the credits after the show, as well as the information you can reach us, me, at ibtpod@gmail.com. And you can also reach me at Big Troy Mac on Twitter, as well as Atlantic IT can be reached through atlanticit.net on their webpage, as well as on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So thank you once again, and that's Big Troy signing off.